Good morning, I'm Gretchen Ho. We're coming to you live this Tuesday, the 7th day of October, bringing you Morning Matters because your mornings matter. Let's get to the stories that matter today. After weeks of hearings on flood control anomalies, Senator Lacson has resigned as chairman of the Blue Ribbon Committee. Lacson admitted the probe, which linked some senators to the anomalies, had caused dismay among his colleagues and spun a narrative that his investigation was biased. Senator Peter Cayetano's call for snap elections to restore public trust is facing pushback from lawmakers. Some senators have contested the idea, while some House members argue that snap elections are not the solution to fight corruption. And overloading is being blamed for the collapse of the Piggatan Bridge in Cagayan, an incident that injured 7 individuals. The damage has made the bridge impassable, causing major travel delays. Welcome to our program, Morning Matters, where we talk about the issues you need to know for the rest of your day. Now, first on the agenda, Senator Lacson has resigned as chairman of the Blue Ribbon Committee after weeks of hearings on alleged flood control anomalies. Lacson says he serves only at the will of the people and stressed the probe was guided solely by evidence. Here is a report.
After weeks of hearings into alleged anomalies in flood control projects, Senator Lacson formally submitted his resignation letter to Senate President Tito Soto. Lacson said he serves only at the will of the public. He admitted that some senators' names surfaced during the inquiry and that colleagues have expressed dismay over where the investigation was heading. He added that a narrative was being spun that he was shielding House members while targeting fellow senators. He insisted the probe has been guided only by evidence. Lacson stressed that he has no further political ambitions beyond 2031. On the big story, former Blue Ribbon Committee Chair Richard Gordon said he was surprised by Lacson stepping down. He advised Lacson not to be bothered by fellow senators, noting that as a seasoned investigator and former policeman, he has all the tools to carry out the probe.
Surprised that Ping would even consider that. I'm sure there is some other reason for doing that, especially with all the intramuros going on, all the pending threats to remove again Tito Soto, who I think is doing a good job. There's got to be some stability in the Senate, but obviously the Senate is divided into pro-Duterte and anti-Duterte.
The question now, who will replace Senator Lacson as chair of the powerful Blue Ribbon Committee? Political blogger Jesus Falces told Sa Totoo Lang that the post should remain with the majority bloc to maintain stability in the Senate.
Well, logically, if we're talking about logic, it has to stay with the majority. Hindi pwedeng ibigay yung chairmanship sa member of the minority. So it can only go to a member of the majority. Right now, the vice chairperson is Senator Risa Ontiveros, I think, if I'm not mistaken. But I know for a fact she will not accept it or she doesn't want it. And then there were also talks about Senator Kiko Pangilinan, which was the other choice.
Many dismiss Senator Peter Cayetano's call for the mass resignation of top officials and the holding of snap elections. Here is a report.
From the President and Vice President down to members of both chambers of Congress, Senate Minority Leader Peter Cayetano wants them all to resign so snap elections can be held immediately. He also wants everyone barred from running in the next election cycles. The objective, to bring back public trust in government institutions amid allegations of corruption in infrastructure projects. As Cayetano puts it, there should be no drama, no excuses, no recycling, just a clean slate for the Filipino people. Accountability is also what Senate President Tito Soto wants from all the investigations, particularly into anomalous flood control projects.
Cannot be an option. What do you do with those who are not guilty? What do you do with those who are newly elected and have no bad records? Idadamay mo doon sa mga guilty or sa mukhang guilty kung hindi man guilty. Kung meron bang marumi, ba't natin idadamay yung mga malinis doon sa marumi?
Soto also believes public faith in the state can only be restored if there is transparency in the use of government funds, clarity in the direction and output of current investigations, and straightforward results from courts of law.
Everything will be done through the eyes or within the purview of the people. No? Hopefully, the ICI can open to the public its deliberations. And the most important of all is that the judiciary act well.
Senate President pro tempore Ping Lacson seconded this, adding, quote, "In fact, election campaigns actually add to more corruption. For a change, how about certainty of punishment of corrupt politicians? The higher, the better." And while he is open to the idea of a snap election, Senator Erwin Tulfo is asking if such is possible at this time and if there is a law or even funds to back the process. If it comes to pass, the lawmaker wants local officials down to councilors to resign as well. For Senator Cayetano's estranged brother, Lino, his sibling's proposal is a good idea if he takes the lead. In a lengthy Facebook post, the former Taguig mayor and congressman said, quote, "The Senate will function without the Cayetanos, while Taguig has a very capable vice mayor." Lino added, quote, "I will support further that no Cayetanos should run in 2028. Lahat tayo." The Philippines last witnessed snap elections way back February of 1986 between the late dictator Ferdinand Marcos Sr. and Cory Aquino. His father's namesake and now President Bongbong Marcos says he has no time for politics. At the lower house, reactions were swift.
Ang panawagan ng taong bayan ay accountability, panagutin yung mga nagnakaw sa kaban ng bayan, hindi eleksyon ang sagot dito.
Bakit natin gagawin yon? Kita nyo naman dito sa Kongreso, tuloy-tuloy ang trabaho ng lahat ng mga mambabatas. At malapit na rin natin matatapos ang budget season. Kaya wala kami nakikitang dahilan kung bakit natin gagawin yan.
If it were up to Minority Leader Nonoy Libanan, snap elections is not the answer.
Ito na siguro yung tamang panahon para tumawag tayo ng Constitutional Convention or Constituent Assembly para baguhin ang ating konstitusyon. Mag-reboot na tayo.
The Judicial and Bar Council has submitted to the Office of the President its short list of 7 nominees for the next Ombudsman. That's including Justice Secretary Boying Remulla. Also shortlisted are Philippine Competition Commission Chairperson Michael Aguinaldo, Philippine Postal Corporation Chairperson Stephen Cruz, Supreme Court Associate Justice Samuel Gerlan, Deputy Executive Secretary for Legal Affairs Ana Liza Logan, retired Supreme Court Associate Justice Mario Lopez, and Sandigan Bayan 4th Division Chairperson Michael Frederick Musngi. President Bongbong Marcos will select one from the list to serve a fixed 7-year term as Ombudsman. Remulla reacted to his inclusion in the shortlist, saying he remains focused on his current duties at the Department of Justice.
I'll still be reporting for work here for sure. Tomorrow, kasi marami pa taming tinatapos. Kaya tingnan natin how it goes. I think the shortlist was submitted already. Wala pa akong update. It's a work in progress.
Acting PNP Chief Jose Melencio Nartates denied rumors that police officers are pushing him to withdraw support from President Bongbong Marcos. Nartates stressed that there is no basis for a coup, citing Marcos' strong mandate in 2022. The AFP meanwhile confirmed some retired officers floated the idea of military intervention, but Chief General Romeo Browner rejected it and informed the president, who reaffirmed his trust in the armed forces. Malacanang and the DILG also dismissed coup rumors as mere hearsay.
So to speak, sad to say, some of them, retired officers of the AFP, trying to reach out to the younger officers, trying to reach out to the commanders, reaching out to me even, no? And convincing us to intervene through several means. No? Maaring through a coup d'etat, as written, a military junta, in order to come up with a reset for the entire Philippine society, or withdrawal of support.
Sa akin, wala pa namang kumakausap, as well as my staff, as well as the commanders, and even the regional directors. Pagka meron, and then maybe pwede ko silang kausapin not to do it.
And coming right up, Senator Alan Peter Cayetano's call for a snap elections is being called unconstitutional by legal experts. And joining us to discuss the legality of this proposal, we will have retired Supreme Court Senior Associate Justice Adolf Ascuna on the show. Don't go away. Morning Matters will be back. Good morning, I'm Gretchen Ho, and here at Morning Matters, we talk about the most pressing issues and give you the context behind the headlines. Legal experts and groups have slammed Senator Alan Peter Cayetano's call for snap elections, calling it unconstitutional and a recipe for chaos. Cayetano had urged all elected officials from the president down to Congress to resign and bar incumbents from running again. But retired Justice Antonio Carpio, Senate leaders Tito Sotto and Ping Lacson, and some election lawyers all warned the move has no legal basis under the 1987 Constitution. Malacanang also brushed it off as wishful thinking, while critics said it would only fan political instability. And joining us today to give us some clarity on what the Constitution says, we have retired Supreme Court Senior Associate Justice Adolfo Ascuna, one of the framers of the 1987 Constitution. Thank you so much and welcome back to Morning Matters.
Thank you. Good morning.
Okay, first of all, let's go to this proposal of Senator Alan Peter Cayetano for a snap elections preceded by a resignation of all officials. Is there any legal basis for that? Would that be extra-constitutional? And to your opinion, some say that this makes the possibility of a military junta even more likely, given that there's a period between resignations and the proposed elections. Your thoughts on that?
Sa palagay ko, itong proposal ni Senator Cayetano ay against the Constitution kasi it is a mass abdication of their solemn duties and oath of office to perform their functions. And there is no basis for a mass resignation of everybody, which will create a vacuum and a void in our government. And that is very dangerous. For example, the Constitution says that the President shall be the Commander-in-Chief of all armed forces. If he resigns, we will have no Commander-in-Chief. Everybody resigns. Nobody can take his place. So there's a void. If something happens and national security is threatened, we have a situation where the military has no commander. And that is dangerous. So palagay ko, hindi dapat gawin ito.
Oo. So tama ho yun, no, na maaaring magkaroon pa ng military junta in that void, in that vacuum of power.
Yes, everything would be possible in that vacuum, political vacuum that will be created when everybody resigns. So that is not a good situation to bring about, since it is a lack of governance. What we need is accountability, not absence of governance.
Oh, so there is nothing at all in the Constitution that provides for snap elections. Wala po talaga nakasulat na snap elections doon.
Wala po sa Constitution. Hindi naman nagbabawal, but it's against the system because our system is presidential, not parliamentary. Sa parliamentary, yun ang ginagawa na mas maganda siguro kung ganon ang sistema natin. Pero as it is now, we have a presidential system and officials have taken their oath to perform their duties. And a mass resignation is a abdication of that solemn duty.
Assuming that the proposal of Senator Alan Peter Cayetano is followed, could officials be forced to resign in the first place, or would that be entirely voluntary?
Yes, you cannot force them to resign and you cannot force them not to run again. That would be unconstitutional.
And for the snap elections, would Congress need to sign off on this first? I mean, I guess the other question here is, meron bang power yung Pangulo na tumawag ng elections under the present Constitution? You already said na parang hindi nga po, wala nga po yun kasi presidential na tayo. Pero looking back at history, it already happened. Yung snap elections happened. That was under Ferdinand Marcos Sr. back in December of 1985, where he announced the holding of snap elections in February the next year because of doubt and political pressure surrounding his presidency. So, given that what happened in history, paano po yun? Meron po bang kapangyarihan ang presidente to call for special elections?
Iba po yung sitwasyon noon under President Marcos Sr. because he had legislative powers under the constitution that he crafted. So he could call snap elections. Pangalawa, he did not resign. He continued as president, so there's no vacuum.
Okay.
Commander-in-Chief. So iba po yung sitwasyon noon.
And the other controversial portion of the proposal is that no incumbents would be allowed to run. Is that even constitutional and enforceable?
It would not be constitutional to prohibit incumbents from running again. But of course, they can voluntarily waive the right to run. That is possible, but probably very hard to accomplish. So that is not a very doable proposal of my good friend Senator Alan Peter Cayetano.
And if there is no legal basis, then why is a member of the bar actually proposing this?
Well, out of possible creative solution to our national crisis, I believe. But the way to solve the crisis is through accountability rather than letting go of governance.
And speaking of accountability, no, hindi po ba nakasulat po sa ating batas that officials who are subject of an investigation are actually not allowed to resign? Section 12 of the anti-graft law says they are not allowed to resign pending an investigation or pending a prosecution for graft and corruption or bribery. Do we understand Section 12 correctly? Sino po kaya yung maaaring maging parte nito? Given na yung mga hearings, meron po mga pangalang nabanggit, pero they're still building up cases.
Well, that is a situation where the person has already been investigated and perhaps sued already criminally, so it's not allowed to resign. But usually a person has a right to resign, but a mass resignation is different. That will be totally giving up governance, and that is, I think, unconstitutional.
Well, there are those who say that this is probably a smokescreen or distraction to cast the net so wide that it would be difficult now to really focus on the guilty, on those who need to be held accountable. And on the other end, no, parang calling for a mass resignation, parang marami nagsasabi, gano'n na lang ba yun? Magre-resign na lang ba? Wala ba ditong makakasuhan o makukulong? Your thoughts on what's happening now and the way the flood control probe is being conducted as you watch?
Yes, I agree. This could be a distraction, whether intended or not, from the need for those who are responsible to render accounting to our people.
And the conversation of resignation of all officials, if you change the people and you don't change the system, nothing much will happen, correct? So if you take a look at the current constitution, looking back, what would you have done or what would you have added as deterrents for corruption? Because there are those who say that the hand of the law is not too heavy on the corrupt. that, yun nga, no, bakit nga paulit-ulit nangyayari ito sa ating bayan? It's become so systemic, so system-wide, parang wala na pong takot. If you had the chance to open back up the Constitution and add some more deterrents in there, what would you add?
I would add a definition of political dynasty so that we will have no more situation where political dynasty is proliferating, even though the Constitution already prohibits it for lack of definition, as Congress has failed to define it up to now.
And how would you define it?
2 degrees at least.
2 degrees, hindi up to the 4th degree of consanguinity. Okay. Pero bukod po doon, no, meron nga nagpo-propose ng death penalty. Of course, that's the one extreme end. But currently, if plunder is one of the heaviest that you can get charged for because you can get imprisoned for life. Ano po yung, parang meron po ba kayong naiisip pa na maaaring maidagdag pa rito? I mean, is it just a matter of enforcement now, given that there is something in the law that already punishes or gives a punishment of life imprisonment for corruption?
What we have to look into is the presumption of ill-gotten wealth that is in the law, but we are not using it in other countries, such as England, where it is proven that an official's assets exceed his lawful income. The excess is considered immediately ill-gotten, and that amount can be frozen. You don't have to prove that this particular property was ill-gotten. You can take any of his property up to the amount of the excess and freeze it and confiscate it. That's in our law, but we are not using it.
Which one po? Yung?
The Anti-Graft Law, Republic Act 1359.
Oo. Ano po yung threshold?
Meron pong provision dyan that if it is proven that the assets of an official exceeds his lawful income, the excess is presumed ill-gotten.
It's already in the law.
It's already in the law.
Oh, okay. But yun nga po, no, it's a matter of being able to apply the law. Another thing that has not been observed is yung Article 11, Section 1 that states public office is public trust and public officers must at all times lead modest lives. But how do you begin to enforce that in the first place?
Well, first place, you require the filing of SAL-N and disclosure of SAL-N as required by the Constitution. And then we have the wrong notion that we should all send them to jail. What we should do first is to forfeit their properties that are ill-gotten. Hit them where it hurts, no? Confiscate the excess property, forfeit it in favor of the government. While it's still there, we should not investigate. The law already allows confiscation of what is in excess. And then go for forfeiture. We have a law for forfeiture. Don't go for imprisonment. Go for forfeiture.
Pero yun nga po, no, kahit yung SAL-N pa lang, unang-una pa lang po doon, ay naglabas na yung Ombudsman ng desisyon noon na officials are not required to disclose their SAL-N and you would need to ask for their permission to do that. That came from the Office of the Ombudsman. And I guess my question here is, why is the Ombudsman so powerful when it comes to these decisions? At pangalawa, given that the government is looking at its next ombudsman now, what is at stake with that choice as the next ombudsman?
Well, at stake is the enforcement of our laws against corruption. And so it is very important. The choice of the ombudsman is very important because he is the primary official who is tasked with prosecuting the guilty in our system. So, but I have also a proposal to assist in the task of prosecuting guilty officials to adopt a writ of quitam. This is a special procedure which allows citizens themselves to file the suit against the corrupt official. It is allowed in other countries. All you have to do is for the Supreme Court to adopt the rule. It's called quitam. And in that case, the Ombudsman is given 60 days to file the case. If the Ombudsman fails to file the case, the citizen can file the case against the corrupt official.
Okay, so this in effect gives the citizenry some power over that. What would be the main difference with current procedures?
Well, the writ of quitam has to be adopted by the Supreme Court. No need for Congress. It's just a procedural remedy. And the Supreme Court, in the same way that it adopted the writ of amparo in 2007,
Okay.
can adopt the writ of quitam today to address massive corruption in our system.
Okay. Some were afraid that the office of the Ombudsman might be used as an office for political retribution. How do you safeguard or protect the office from doing just that when it is the president who will choose the ombudsman? Bakit po yung ano po yung naging rational kung bakit yung presidente ang pinapa-appoint po nito? Given that yun nga po there are political interests at hand. And if you take a look at the arena now, that is exactly the thing that might influence all of these events, from the impeachment down to the flood control probe.
Well, the Ombudsman is an independent office, constitutional office, given powers and independence under the setup. So we expect the Ombudsman to be above politics in the performance of his or her duties. And of course, the citizens must be on guard as well and be vigilant so that the Ombudsman will know that he's being watched by the people themselves.
Oo, pero paano po kaya yun? Many of the officials on the short list of the JBC, including Justice Remulla, are closely identified with the administration. In your mind, how do we strike a balance between independence of the office as well as the political aspects of the job?
It's precisely the nature of the office itself that provides independence regardless of the appointing power. It's like the Supreme Court. Once you're appointed, you don't look back. Your loyalty is to the Constitution.
Ideally po, yun po ang mangyayari po sana, the loyalty to the Constitution from all fronts. But I guess if you take a look at the proposal that we put on the table today from Senator Alan Peter Cayetano, as you mentioned, that one is already extra constitutional. So we continue to watch out for what's happening here. But thank you for shedding light on the recent developments and joining us this morning. Maraming salamat. We have retired Supreme Court Senior Associate Justice Adolf Ascuna.
Maraming salamat din po, Gretchen.
Up next, 7 people were injured and travel was disrupted in Cagayan after the Piggatan Bridge collapse, reportedly due to overloading. All that and more when Morning Matters returns. Keep it here. Welcome back. You're still watching Morning Matters here on One News. 7 people were injured after the 45-year-old Piggatan Bridge in Alcala, Cagayan collapsed Monday afternoon. More in this report.
Several heavily loaded trucks were left stranded at the center of the collapsed Piggatan Bridge in Alcala, Cagayan. The bridge can be seen completely split into several sections. According to the initial investigation of the Alcala Municipal Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Office, 4 trucks were crossing the bridge at the time of the collapse. 7 people were injured and immediately taken to the hospital. The Piggatan Bridge has since been closed to all types of vehicles. The Alcala local government, together with the Department of Public Works and Highways, has designated alternate routes for motorists. The area has been cordoned off, with rescue teams on standby to ensure public safety. Cagayan Governor Edgardo Aglipay said the incident happened at around 5 in the afternoon. One of the trucks was carrying 50 tons of palay, while another was loaded with 25 tons of ipil wood. Alcala Mayor Tin Antonio said the Piggatan Bridge was already 45 years old and designed to carry only up to 18 tons, far below the combined weight of the 2 heavily loaded trucks. The mayor also raised questions about the bridge's original design.
This road and this bridge is the only national highway traversing this part of Cagayan. And so there is no other choice except for trucks and big vehicles to pass by this bridge. And so ang tanong ko, kung ang gamit ng mga trucks dito ay talagang pangmalalakihan, this is the national highway, bakit 18 tons lang ang bridge na ito?
This is not the first bridge collapse in Cagayan this year. Last February, the Cabagan Santa Maria Bridge in Isabela also gave way due to overloading.
And to give us the latest update on the collapsed Piggatan Bridge, we have Rueli Rapsing, head of the Cagayan PD RRMO. Magandang umaga sa iyo.
Good morning, Jen, sa lahat ng mga viewers.
Help us understand what happened exactly to the Piggatan Bridge. Can you walk us through the series of events?
Well, yesterday, 4:30, a community emergency responder in Barangay Piggatan reported to us na nag-collapse nga po itong Piggatan Bridge dahil nagsakay itong 4 na delivery trucks, 10-wheeler delivery trucks, sa pagtawid doon sa bridge po.
Emergency responder po?
Yes, every barangay we have community emergency responders, Ms. Gretchen, and they were the one who sent us a video reporting. So right then we contact the Alcala MDRMO to confirm the report from our community emergency responders.
Pero the video that we're showing, ito nga pong picture din no, of that bridge. Pwede niyo po bang i-describe sa amin kung ano po yung nandun, ano po yung nakikita po natin doon? Kung overloading po ang problema, bakit po kaya napayagan yung several trucks all at the same time traversing that bridge?
Okay, this is part of the Maharlika Highway, Ms. Gretchen. And this is the only national highway going towards the northern portion of the province and going towards Ilocos Norte. So this is the Pan-Asia-Pacific Highway na ginagamit po ng lahat ng motorists natin. There's no other alternate route going towards the north except this road. So usual na merong nagsasabay-sabay na mga trucks, mga delivering their commodities.
Were there signs already of deterioration prior to this? Meron na po bang parang warning signs?
There are signages put up by DPWH, Ms. Gretchen. 18 tons yung load limit ng bridge natin. Although all roads and bridges may be load limit naman talagang siniset ng DPWH natin. It's just that since there's no other road, yung mga motorists natin, dito talaga dumadaan lahat ang mga vehicles and trucks. Somehow, back in 2022 and 23, I think there were retrofitting done sa bridge po na yan.
But I guess the question, one of the questions here is who is the one enforcing yung load limit na yan. Dahil kung ikaw ay may dalang sasakyan, you expect the bridge or the infrastructure that you're passing through to at least be able to sustain you if you're allowed to go through the bridge. The question here is, it's government, hindi po ba dapat gobyerno nakakaalam kung ano dapat ang pumasok lamang at hindi?
That's true, Miss Gretchen. Although there are wala pong assigned na nakabantay doon sa bridge or anywhere in the country for that na bantayan yung mga roads and bridges po natin except our highway patrollers and rather enforcers ng local government. But somehow, merong mga signages kasi dyan na nakalagay kung hanggang anong bigat lang ang kakayanin ng bridge po na yan.
And ano po yung bigat po na yun?
Ang load limit set by DPWH was 18 tons po.
18 tons. And then the trucks, when you measured, ano po yung naging lagpas niya dun sa 18 tons?
Well, sa 10-wheeler truck, usually, some of them goes to 25 metric tons. Some of them, 20 cubic meters yung load ng mga dump trucks na dumadaan ka. So, hindi rin talaga nababantayan yung load limits when it comes to our bridges and roads.
So, yung 18 tons na nababanggit po, yung 18 metric tons po yan?
Yes po.
Oo. So ang layo po. Kung 25 na po yung isang 10-wheeler, malayo po siya. Parang isa lang po ang pwedeng dumaan at a certain point in time.
And that's true, Ms. Gretchen. Somehow we can't report it that way because we're still waiting for the conclusive report from the investigation of DPWH.
Oo. And I guess, yung pinakaano dito, kung hindi po mapabantayan ng gobyerno ito, dapat yung design pa lang sa una pa mismo ay mahigitan na. Usually ganun po yun, di ba? Parang we design, kumbaga parang we leave some excess buffer from the regular traffic of people and cars passing through a certain road or a certain bridge. Natanong na po ba natin, bakit po naging ganun ang pagkakadesenyo at hindi po ba na-foresee na maaring dumaan dito knowing that this is the only highway to the north?
Yes, Ms. Gretchen, that's true. That should have been designed for bigger delivery trucks. No? But way back 1974, when it was constructed, yung anticipation of big delivery trucks at that time, hindi, I think, yung design was just, the consideration was different from what's on how it's being used right now. So I think DPWH should improve in designing their bridges.
Okay. Ito po, ano pong taon natapos ito at anong taon na disenyo?
It's almost 5 decades, Ms. Gretchen. That was constructed 1974.
Pareho rin po ba ang kanyang tanda dun sa Isabela Bridge naman?
No, yung Isabela Bridge sa Kapagan, that was just way back 2022, Ms. Gretchen.
Relatively bago po yun.
Hindi malayong mas matanda itong Piggatan Bridge.
So ilan po kaya yung mga bridge natin na ganito katanda? At are you already conducting a review of the other bridges? Kasi kung yung pa lang dito sa main highway po natin, kumbaga parang ano na siya, under capacity na siya, paano po ba kaya yung iba?
Yes, ang inventory po niyan, Ms. Gretchen, is being done by DPWH. Although we've advised them on their inventories po, kung gaano nakatanda yung mga bridges po natin dito sa Cagayan.
I guess my final question here is, kung ito lang po yung daan along Maharlika Highway, what is the alternate route that you're working on right now to be able to facilitate the traffic flow?
Yes, yesterday, right after nangyari po, we've already assigned alternate routes for big trucks, delivery and commodity trucks. They can use the San Jose Bagao Road going towards Kapisayan, Dumun, Gataran. And for light vehicles, within Barangay Piggatan, there's a circumferential road that they can use.
So meron pa naman po ibang daan. Di naman po kailangan mag-barge.
Yes po. It's just that may additional almost 2 hours yung San Jose Bagao going towards Kapisayan, Dumon, Gataran. And itong within Piggatan, Barangay Piggatan, circumferential road, that would be additional 15 minutes po.
Meron po ba kayong price freeze na i-implement po?
We placed the province under state of calamity after Super Typhoon Nando, Ms. Gretchen. And part of the state of calamity is the price freezing that's coordinated with the DTI, Ms. Gretchen.
So meron po ngayon? Kasi malamang po magtataasan po ang presyo niyan.
Yes, because of the additional hours travel po ng commodities, probably magkakaroon ng pagtataas ng prices. Somehow, we're asking DTI, because of the implementation of the state of calamity, baka pwedeng mag-price freeze.
Okay, all right. Maraming salamat sa inyong update. No, this should be looked into. A very alarming situation and condition of our bridges, endangering the safety of the public. In the meantime, maraming salamat po for joining us this morning. We have Rueli Rapsing, head of the Cagayan PDRRMO. Don't go away. We got more matters to discuss after a quick break. Keep it here on One News. Welcome back. You're still watching Morning Matters here on One News. Switzerland Tourism CEO Martin Neidegger is leading the organization's first high-level delegation in the Philippines this October. The visit highlights the growing importance of the Philippine market, which became a permanent focus for Swiss tourism in 2024. Now, the delegation is meeting with local travel partners to promote Switzerland as a premier destination for Filipino travelers. It is also showcasing the Travel Better strategy, which emphasizes sustainable tourism and enriched visitor experiences. Switzerland Tourism says the trip reinforces its long-term commitment to developing the Philippine market as a key priority. And joining us this morning, we have on the show Mr. Martin Neidegger himself, CEO of Switzerland Tourism. Good morning. Welcome to Morning Matters.
Thank you so much for having me.
I'm proud to say I would tell people that I was one of the first to be able to do a TV episode on Switzerland, and we were partners on that back in 2022. Our Switzerland episode is actually the highest ranked amongst our episodes at 2.6 million views currently, and obviously there's high interest from the Philippine market. But help us understand how this relationship has evolved. How did the Philippines become a key market enough to bring you here?
Yeah. Well, I'm glad to hear it. Definitely shows that you're a trendsetter. You started a fire, which is now
one of those
spreading wide. And it is actually, I'm very proud to be here. It's my first visit to the Philippines. And it is our latest addition to the market. And that has to do with the fact that we really believe in the market dynamics. Filipinos are wonderful people, and Swiss are wonderful people. So I think it's about time we bring them together.
Mm-hmm. And have you seen a tremendous growth in the number of tourist visitors from the Philippines?
Well, we did. If we look at the stats, then the market dynamics, and that's what we call when the market really grows from year to year. In the last 10 years, it is the fastest growing market in our portfolio of
Philippines,
markets. The
Philippine market.
Still on a lower level, so we're still expecting more, but we can see there's dynamics in the market.
Not from Korea?
No, actually, it's the growth rate is even faster than that.
Really?
Yeah, it's impressive, and that's why we're here, and we came with a delegation to really display the importance. And we want to learn also, what do we need to do, how do we need to adapt so we can even welcome more Filipinos.
Maybe make it less expensive.
I don't know if that's the thing. You know, you need to do work. We want to really focus on quality and give the best visitor experience, and then you cannot put a price on that.
Sige na nga. In Tagalog. In English rather, it's fine. No, I mean, there's value for money, certainly, when you go to Switzerland. That's the reason why I mentioned Korea is because of the iconic crash landing on you that the Swiss told me brought a lot to tourism. I guess tell us about the impact of that, the Korean series, and what does Switzerland have to offer?
Well, it's a wonderful example on how social media can have an impact on a tourism destination. In this case, it was a Netflix series, and it has a huge impact. It was a tiny, small village, and they showed a wonderful jetty which is going inside the lake of Brienz. It is a turquoise blue lake surrounded by mountains, blue sky.
Interlaken.
Right? In this area, correctly. So it's really it's beautiful, and it had a huge impact. People really want to come and relive this scene on the jetty, on that beautiful spot. So it totally works. And I think now, after some years, we also prepared for the people.
But I love how your approach to tourism has been through these campaigns. For one, the Switzerland Tourism Group got me to do the 100% Women Cycling Challenge, highlighting the cycling experience around the country. What do you have for autumn? And how does Switzerland embrace its tourism initiatives?
Yeah. We always try to do it a little bit different. This is our credo, our motto. We're trying to do a little bit of an unconventional way in showcasing, in promoting our country. So that's why once we worked on the fact that the main decision maker in travel is not us men, it's the women. Women take the decision. So that's what was basically the insight of that campaign, 100% women. The women are in power if it comes to travel decision, so we should really address them. And now the topic at this very moment is Switzerland is known for beautiful summer pictures, for maybe snow-capped mountains, but one season which does not get enough attention and totally unjustified, because it's just, in my opinion, the most beautiful season is autumn. We have in Switzerland 4 completely different full-blown season, and the autumn is, in my opinion, just spectacular. When you have the golden mountains, when the air is a bit more crisp, it is just phenomenal. So we have started a campaign with our ambassador, the tennis legend Roger Federer.
Wow.
Then we had Halle Berry, icon.
They're both Swiss.
Halle Berry is American.
Oh, okay.
She is
only Roger is.
Only Roger is, exactly, and so they're telling a story, and they're not just saying Switzerland is beautiful. They're telling a story. She's basically manipulating, in the clip, she's manipulating the shot for one sole reason. She wants to stay as long as possible in Switzerland, so she does everything wrong. So it's a bit funny. It's entertaining. You should look it up.
So this is a commercial.
It is. I would say it's a bit more than a commercial. It's also a bit entertainment. Yeah.
And when will this be released?
It's just been released the last couple of weeks, so it's out there on YouTube.
Okay, so search for Roger Federer and Halle Berry
and Switzerland
Tourism. How does Switzerland look like in autumn? I mean, you talked about how crisp everything is, but in terms of like hues and colors, because I've been there. I think it was spring. Is May spring?
Yes.
Spring. I've been there in spring. I've been there in winter. Okay. But how does autumn look like?
Well, the dominant color is golden, yellow. It's really an Indian summer picture. I would say this is the main color scheme there. Everything is still open, and that's quite relevant. We don't have something like an off-season where things shut down, so it's still open. Switzerland is basically open throughout the entire year. And in autumn you have, and that's a particularity, the air is very crisp, clear, so you can see as far as possible. You go up to the mountains. You don't need to climb them in Switzerland. We have more than 600 mountain railways, so we have always mountains who are amazing and accessible.
You say everything is open because in the winter some activities are closed, right? So during autumn, what can people do? Climb mountains?
Well, go up to the mountains. There's a lot of sightseeing to do. There's in the cities, people are roaming around the cities. And let's not forget, autumn is the harvest season. So it's if you like a glass of wine, this is perfect. We have phenomenal wine, and the vineyards are always in spectacular places. Our trains rides are just amazing because we have a very well-established public transportation system. Something might be a bit new to the Filipinos. This is also our way in showing if you're in Switzerland, you should definitely travel by train. It's convenient, it's on time, it's clean, it's really an experience
itself. You just need one pass.
That's correct. It's the Swiss Travel Pass, which makes it very easy. You don't need to worry, is it valid or is it not valid? This is like a convenience pass.
Okay, so if I were a traveler and I was thinking of which season to visit Switzerland in, what would winter be best for?
Winter is... you have the same landscape, looks completely different because you have a meter-thick snow layer on everything. Sometimes you've seen the picture maybe with thick layer of snow on the chalet houses or on the landscapes. It's completely different. If you want, you can ski, but you don't necessarily need to do that. So don't shy away from going to Switzerland in winter because you don't know how to ski. There's so many things to do. You can do sledging, you just walk, you can take a horse carriage or just enjoy this landscape.
How about in fall?
Fall, again, is, in my opinion, my personal favorite season.
Is fall and autumn the same?
Yes.
Oh, sorry. Because we only have 2 seasons here.
Right.
Wet and dry,
we have 4.
So not familiar. Summer. Am I correct?
Yeah. I think summer, it's rather cold in winter, and then in summer it goes up to maybe 25, 30 degrees, so still warm to go and swim in the lakes and in the rivers, go for hikes, go for strolls, but it's not unbearable hot. And we see a lot of countries coming to visit Switzerland because it's very comfortable climate-wise.
Which cities should we go to? I did notice that each city has its own charm. Each city and town. How do you call the towns again in Switzerland?
We call them
canton.
Yeah, the canton are the regions, but we call them. Our cities are actually, in comparison to Metro Manila, are rather smaller. So we call them boutique towns.
Oh, okay.
So you're most likely going to fly into Zurich. This is the airport with the most connection. Make sure that you stay in Zurich because Zurich is not as big as you might think. Zurich is a town at the lake with a fantastic view to the mountain. So you have everything right there. So definitely spend some time in Zurich. Lucerne is a wonderful place to go and visit. And then we have there's several languages being spoken in Switzerland. French is one of it, and Geneva, where all the beautiful watches are come from. So this is the place to go to look or maybe buy a watch. It is also the chocolate capital. They have lots of different chocolates.
Yes.
So don't miss out on trying and visiting a chocolate museum. We have chocolate experience places. Lindt, for example, is a world-renowned chocolate. So you have an 8-meter high chocolate fountain. So it's not only water running down, but even chocolates. So there's so many things. Matterhorn is there as well.
Toblerone Mountain.
That's correct.
But it has been removed from the packaging, right?
And it came back now.
It came back now?
Yeah, it came back because they couldn't do without it.
Okay. So again, there's some watches, there's chocolates, cheese.
Don't leave Switzerland.
Cheese is so good.
Don't leave Switzerland without trying a fondue. It's melted cheese with a bit of bread. So there's plenty of things to do. So.
How do we? Where do we even start? I mean, for those who would want to go around Switzerland.
Well, a good start is always, if you want to get an impression what the possibilities you have, visit our website, switzerland.com. There you get a thorough and trustworthy information. And we have representation even here in Manila. So we do have a person who's also talking to tour operators, to travel agencies. If you want to book, go and visit your nearest travel agency and have them explain everything, what you can do to go to Switzerland.
And how much would be a good length of time to spend in Switzerland? And how much would you need on the average?
You need months and weeks, but of course you don't have that time available. But I would say start with not less than a week. Not less than a week. It would be a pity to fly there, and you really want to dive into it. You want to see the diversity. So make sure that you account a certain amount of time. So it has to be more than a week.
Maybe, but is a direct flight in the offing?
Not at this moment. We're really hoping for it. You can count me in team direct flight, but it is not up to us. So we're really trying. We are trying to create a demand here. So if there's lots of demand from Philippines wanting to go to Switzerland, then the airlines will definitely look at it and consider it.
Well, for sure, one of the biggest factors here would be the high growth from the Philippine market that you mentioned. And just hearing about your stories makes me want to go back there again. And we do hope to see more partnerships at hand and then more for the travelers who want to experience a trip of their lifetimes. I would always refer to Switzerland as a paradise where that country just feels so blessed from all fronts, like from the clean water to the mountains to the solace that you find walking amongst nature, and so much produce. So a lot to visit, to look forward to. Anything else that you'd like to?
Well, I love your description as a paradise. I mean, that's definitely something, and it is a nice contrast to the Philippines. We are landlocked, so we are fascinated by your beaches and whatever the Philippines have to offer. And in reverse, we are landlocked. We have the most spectacular mountains, and there's a saying: if mountains had a home, it would be Switzerland.
Wow. How are the men? Joke. Just kidding. This is my show. I know what you lack. You lack problems. Just kidding. Thank you very much for joining us this morning. We have Mr. Martin Neidiger, CEO of Switzerland Tourism. We look forward to deepening the relationship between the Philippines and Switzerland. And that wraps up today's episode of Morning Matters. We hope we've given you the right start to your morning. Let's go ahead and make the day matter. We hope we got you excited on that, on your future travels and the rest of your day. My name is Gretchen Ho. We are One News, all sides, all the time.